Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I put together this fall floral lantern centerpiece. As usual, it has to have a little bird. So if you want to see how I put this all together, keep on watching. Alright, so I want to start off with this beautiful gold metal lantern that I got from the Dollar Tree. It was $5. I thought it was a pretty good purchase. It's not a very thick metal. It's a little bit thin. It might bend easily, but this is just going to be for the holiday season. So I think it'll be a nice way of using something inexpensive. Alright, and I've got some beautiful ribbon here that I purchased at a store nearby. I chose this to coordinate with the florals that I have here. And here you can see some beautiful roses. Of course, these are not like necessarily an autumn color, but they do have these peaches in there that I thought went really well with these little ranunculus. I believe this is what these are. They've got some kind of a maroonish, pinkish color inside, but then they have a orangey, peachy tinge to them. I've got some little daisies here that also have the colors that will coordinate with that. I want to bring in some more oranges, so I have some silver leaf. I think this is, yeah, I think that's what it's called, silver leaf. It's like a eucalyptus. And then I also have some little fillers here. These are little pomegranates, and I've got more orange and kind of brownish and red tones here with this fern. And then of course I've got a cute little pumpkin that I also grabbed from the Dollar Tree. She's kind of glittery, and I'll go with the kind of the glitter, the gold here on this ribbon. So I've got these really nice colors. They're not all exactly the same. They're different tones of oranges, some coppery, some peach, some creams or ivory, if you want to call it that. Right, we're also going to need a block of styrofoam. I've got my hot glue gun ready. I'm going to be using my wire cutter, scissors, and some wire. All right, so let's get to crafting. I will start off by adding plenty of glue here at the base of my lantern so that I can add in this piece of styrofoam and hot glue that down so that it is stable. Now at this point, once I've glued this down, I can cover it with any type of moss, Spanish, free moss, whatever you want to cover it with. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that and try to hide most of the styrofoam with my florals and greenery. Alright, so I want to place this pumpkin right on the middle here of the styrofoam, and I'm going to hot glue that down as well. In lieu of a pumpkin, we could place a candle. Alright, so I'm just making sure that my pumpkin is more or less centered. My styrofoam isn't, so I'm just going to make sure that my pumpkin is. By the way, I once again failed to mention that I do have a little bird that I want to add to my arrangement. So I have this cute little bird with a copper tone to it. Alright, so I want to create a swag arrangement, meaning on two sides, on two opposite sides, I want my arrangement to come out at a somewhat of a length. I want this on my coffee table, so I already know pretty much the length that I want it to be, so I'll be working with that. So make sure you measure the space that you want it for so that you know how far out you can come out. On the other two sides, I'm going to keep it short. I don't mind it sticking out a little bit, but I want basically the two opposite sides to be longer and these to be short. That's what's going to create that swag, or basically like a runner effect on the table. I'm going to choose these eucalyptus stems, and I'm going to cut the two longer bits that I can find on here. Let's do this one. Yeah, let's do that one. And what I'll do, because it does have three stems on it, I'm going to remove one of them. I don't mind if there's two on one end and just one on the other end. Alright, so I want these coming out the opposite side, so whatever I do to one side, I will do to the other. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the end of the stem. And I'm just going to push it in as far as I can, keeping a length here. And I'm going to do the same on the other side, but I'm actually going to trim this one just a bit. just doing little bends on it, kind of giving it a bit of a curve, giving it sort of that sort of flow so it's not just sticking out straight out. All right, I'm cutting out another 2 pieces. I may use more of this eucalyptus, but for now this is what I'm cutting, and I'm just cutting as I'm deciding what I want to use. I want to put one on this front and one on the back, but I don't want them to be quite as long, so I am going to trim off a bit more on it. I'm going to take this little piece that I cut off at the bottom. It's got some leaves. I don't want to throw it away. This one here seems to be sliding up a little too much, and I don't want it to come out, so I'm going to add some glue there so it won't pop out on me. And then I can use that little leaf. I might end up getting hidden away, but I'm going to be using it for now. There we go. And then I want to repeat the same on the other side. Always curving pieces just to give them a more natural flow. All right, so now I'm taking my focal flower bush and I'm going to cut off a couple of pieces from here, a couple of stems. Look at that rose, it looks so real. All right, let's move over our arrangement back over here. And I want to decide where I want this. I like this length, and then I have to decide, you know, how much of the stick I want going into my styrofoam. I'm just going to cut it short. I don't need it to be too long. I don't need a lot of sticks kind of crossing each other on the inside of the styrofoam. And this is just sort of resting on this eucalyptus here. See, I always want to bend your flowers. You don't want them just, you know, being straight out like that. You want to give them a little bit of a bend so that when you have it on your table, it's not facing, you know, out this way or down towards the table. You want to be able to see it. All right, this one's going to be trimmed again, or as well. I didn't turn on my glue gun, you guys. Let's turn it on. Or has it been on? All right, let's go ahead and put, oh, sorry, I don't know what I was doing there. Let's put this one on this side. This one keeps flopping over on me, so what I think I need to do is I need to take these little flowers, kind of maneuver them. Let's push it in a little bit more. Yeah, it's going to do that on me. So we'll fix it in a minute with some more greenery underneath it, and then we'll give them these flowers some support so they don't keep doing that. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinsert them into a new hole there. All right, I'll fix the other one in a moment, but I'm going to continue adding here some more flowers. Okay, so I've grabbed some more greenery because I want to add out here on the sides. This is as wide as I want it to be. I don't want it to go any further out. So again, I'm measuring and I'm trimming as needed. All right, let's do the same on the other side. This flower is just going to drip on me, or droop. Now I'm going to take some fern pieces and do the same thing, insert them in there. give it a little bit more length, but it's not too wide. It's not too much. So we'll go ahead and put that in there as well. You can remedy that by giving it a little bit of a fold. Kind of like that. These roses are going to drive me crazy, so I think I'm going to push them in a little bit more. I think the stem's a little too long and it's not holding the weight of the rose. So I'll push them in a little bit more until I see them remain stable, and that's working. All right, let's add some more flowers and some more greenery. We're just going to fill in. We want to cover all the styrofoam that's showing. We don't want to add any height up here because we don't want to hide our pumpkin. We just want to add to this here, make some bits shorter here, and also some short bits here. And we're just going to keep it that way. We don't want anything here, you know, dragging down onto the table. The only thing we want on the table is what's sticking out on these two sides here. Let me show you real quick how I prep that fern leaf here. So I cut one off. And because when you cut it, it doesn't really have much of a stem to it. So I just take my scissors and I cut off some of the little leaf bits at the bottom here. Just trim them off as close to the plastic stem as you can. See, now you've got a little stem. And it's not very stiff, but it'll work. It'll be enough to insert in there. What I want to do is I want to get some smaller fern leaves from here, and I'm going to be adding, so I'll be doing the same thing as I did to this long one here, just cutting some shorter leaves and preparing them the same way. Here you can see my arrangement taking shape. That looks beautiful. All right, so I want to add some roses up here in the front as well. That'll also cover up a good portion of my styrofoam right there. And I'll do one on the other side. Nice. All right, let's start adding more flowers. I'm going to take these fall leaves here, make them short. I like when the stems, you know, the leaves, they can be slid up and down. It's so much easier to handle that way. You'll have the leaves where you want them. Putting that pretty close. And let's do this also. Push it up. But of course, when you can't move them and you've got leaves stationary, what you can do is, for example, this one's further down like that. You can just cut right above right here. You'll have one little stem here, and then you can make another stem with this piece. Let me cut a little bit more. right here. Let's see. I think I'll put them on the sides instead. They'll get too crushed if I put them right here, because I don't want them to stick out further than the rose. So we'll put them over here instead. Hide some of that styrofoam up here. Alright. Alright, so this one just came off of here. I can put it back on, but before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the little piece here so I can glue it down so it doesn't pop off again. Now every time you push something in, make sure you're not pushing too hard that you're then end up smushing or squishing some other flower or some other leaves. I have 2 more of these, so I think I'm going to give them at the end here so I can give some length, not length, but add something to the length with some of these flowers that are kind of concentrated up here at the top. Now I don't have to do that. I don't have to disperse them out evenly or anything like that. But I do have these 2 pieces and I don't think I'll be using them in an arrangement. They're not enough. So I'll use them here. Alright, so one on the other side as well. Alright, so I have these other flowers now and I'll go ahead and insert them somewhere. I don't want that many leaves, so I'm going to remove or slide some down and then just cut this little piece. And that, I think, will go well right here. So let me actually cut it a little bit shorter. Yeah, that'll go right here. Beautiful. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. Gorgeous. I'm going to take these little pieces that still had a little bit of greenery on them, little leaves, and put them right in here. That'll cover that styrofoam, and then I'll do on this other corner over here. And you just want to be turning this, you know, several times. Look at it from every angle that you possibly can and see if there's any spots that maybe are still showing some of that styrofoam. Now, I do want to use some ribbon, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Now, I'm not going to make a bow. I just want a little bit of ribbon in my arrangement, so I just want some tails coming out. So I'll cut about, you know, 10, 12 inches. I'll dovetail one end on each of the pieces. So just do that. Alright. Alright, so I've got a couple of pieces of chenille here. And I'm just going to take these, gather them like that, and wrap the chenille around and twist. And then create a nice good wire tip here that I can insert into the styrofoam. So I'm going to reach in there, push it in, and then just kind of bring out the ribbon just a tiny bit like that. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Look how much this blends in. You can't really see it too much because the colors are so similar. But I think it looks really pretty when you're looking at it in person. If you can't reach in to push it into the styrofoam, what you could do is you could take the ends of the chenille stem before you twist them all the way. Use them, the little ends, to tie around a stem, maybe on the rose or whatever flower you have in there that's got a good piece of stem that you could attach it to. That looks gorgeous. I love it. I'm going to have a feast of glitter all over the place here. All right, so now I want to just add a little bit of something right in here. I can see the styrofoam. Let's turn this around. Move flowers around, leaves around to hide what you can see. That looks good. You can see a little bit right in here and on the other side. I had a bit more of this here, so I'm going to use the tippies here. Little piece here. And one right here. Now, when I placed this rose, this one didn't have any greenery. The other one did. So I'm going to use this piece of greenery that has the extra little berries on there. It's a little bit fuller piece, which will hide the styrofoam right there. Gorgeous. All right, now get the small piece. See how that has leaves here? This side, this rose had it, but the other one didn't. So this one I'll put less leaves over here because I do have those rose leaves to cover. Let's push that in. All right, so these two pieces that I've got here, I want to push as much as I can to the end. Add some glue. I'm not pulling off my glue gun because I don't want it to, it's not charged, I didn't charge enough, so I have to keep it plugged in there. All right, let's go ahead and push these under here because I'm seeing that under here I have this little bare spot. By the way, wait till that glue dries before you start pushing it in. Got glue all over my fingers. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. That. Now I don't feel like I have enough of these little daisies. I have them on each side here, but I don't have them over here, and that's fine. But because I did have some little bits left over, like these two here, I'm just gonna cut that little bit off of it. I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue them just in there underneath the rose a little bit. Just put some glue on the stem and then kind of hot glue it to the bottom of the rose there. That just brings a little bit of that over here. We'll save this little bit. It could work or something, a little corsage. All right, I'll do the same thing on the other side. You hear some noises. That is our trash service. They're picking up our trash. All right. And we don't want to forget one last thing. All right, so I have this little bird, and he does have a little clip on the bottom, but I don't really have like a place to clip it. If I clip it, he'll be like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and remove the clip off the bottom here and put some glue underneath on his little belly. And then I'll just glue him or her on our pumpkin right there. You could choose to add two little birds, maybe one facing the other way, so that when your arrangement is looked from the other side, you can see the little bird as well. I'm happy with just one little bird happily sitting on the pumpkin. Okay, so there is my completed project. Let's take a close look at those beautiful roses. I am in love with them. I feel I'm going to pull them out and then reuse them for something else in the spring. All right, everyone, so that has been my fall floral lantern centerpiece. I am going to put this on my coffee table. This could also go on a dining room table, buffet table for Thanksgiving. I would want to prop this up a little bit and then maybe put the dishes either in front and the sides, or maybe all the way around of your buffet table is something where everyone's going to walk around. You can use this for any occasion, style it for any season. And I hope that you enjoyed it. So I did. You know what? I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. And I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a kind comment down below. Let me know what you thought of my project for today. And if you have any suggestions on future projects, please go ahead and leave that in the comments as well. And if you're enjoying the contents of my videos, I'd ask to please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and choose all the notifications so that you get notified as soon as I upload a video. I want to thank everyone for watching and supporting my channel. And as always, enjoy.